actually smelled quite a bit of it, so this female was scent marking along the way, or it could have been from the Jennets. I did see lots of Jennet tracks too, but it's hard to figure out what this cat has done. The light is really not that great, and she's zigzagging on and off of the road. I just heard some Franklin's alarming down this side on Battlier Road, so we'll go back there again. We've already driven Battlier Road once and I didn't have any tracks, so I'm just trying to race around and get into that area as quick as I can. But it's a tough one. I think we're in for a quiet morning, to be honest. I don't know how much luck we're going to have with the cats, because they are just giving us the slip. But hopefully the birds will help us out here. I don't know, James, you were not wondering, you were hoping for a cat today too. I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling inside my gut about the cats today. I think we have been so lucky, and we had them, a couple of days in a row. We're bound to have a quiet spell. We all love those, don't we? Don't worry, the presenters love it the most. It's our favorite. Hey Sebastian, you love birding and talking about plants all day long. It's our favorite. It's our absolute best. Who needs cats? Cats for what? Elephant, buffalo, Hey giraffe, all boring, says Sebastian. Right, let's have a look here. Those birds sounded like they were alarming in this drainage system. It's very thick, very much thicker this side than it is on the other side, so you can't see down and inside as well, but it sounded like it was coming from here. Let's just take a quick listen to our surroundings and see if anything else can give us a clue. Listen. Did you hear the Birchall's cuckoo? That was so cool. That was a beautiful song. They might call again. No, it's just the emerald spotted wood dove calling. No alarm calls. Maybe those Franklin were shouting for something else, but here that Birchall's cuckoo was quite nice. They one of my favorite sounds of the bush. I'm used to hearing it all the time because my hometown Port Elizabeth, they're just as common as a turtle dove is in the Sabi sand. And it was beautiful always waking up and hearing those calls. And down in the Eastern Cape they're known as the rainbird. It rings true. You normally only see them becoming quite active just before rain and just after rain. And I know that this is true because before massive floods we once had, I counted 22 on one safari. That's when you know. And they were right. Okay, so nothing around here. It is tough, like I said. This cat just could be in this drainage system somewhere here, maybe looking for something to eat, and that would be a good place to go to. Sounds like there's a bird party around here though. Let's see. I can see the crested Franklin, but we see them all the time. Just want to see if I can find something. Oh, there's a dark-capped bulbul. Sebastian, so you see this quarry tree that's right here next to it?
At the back?
No, I'm not going to do the crested barbet. We see them all the time. This quarry here that's closest to us, if we go to the right of it, oh no, it's just flown, never mind. There was a dark cap there. What's that? Can you zoom straight into the, okay, go left, more left. There's leaves moving just in the corner. It's gone now. I didn't see what that was, but there was a dark cap bulbul, which is quite a cool bird. We don't actually often get to see them. We hear them more than we see them around here. Another frequent visitor around the lodge though, dark cap bulbuls. Where are you gone? Where have you gone? You can hear the birds, they're very chirpy. That's a leaf. Who's that? An orange-breasted bush shrike, nicely spotted. From a very quick bouncing about. Let's see if we can get another view of it. Look like it doesn't look big enough to be. There's actually two of them in there. If you go right into where you were, you go left, up a little bit. They're in there, yeah. They're right where you were. They were just behind the leaf. No, that's a lesser spotted stick. If you go straight back into where you were, they were hopping around there.
Like here?
Yeah, you just go to the right a little bit. Yeah, you just got to keep going to the right. They're just jumping out of your frame every single time. I just see their wings. Now, they're very camouflaged. But just from a quick view that we got, straight away I saw that orange belly, and it didn't look big enough to be the grey-headed bush shrike. So that would have been quite nice. Let's just see if we can see them hopping around again. It's tough. Birding will also become a lot easier as soon as a lot of these leaves and grass thin out. I'll tell you that. It'll make everyone's jobs much easier. Now, I think that they've moved now out of that spot. The food party seems to have moved on as well. I can't see any leaves jumping. Oh, and then I forgot to tell you, actually, where is my mobile device? It's in my pocket. Let's clean the screen. I had a look because I was telling you that I wasn't sure what bird that I was looking at. I think it was a green-winged pytilia, but it was just such a quick view of it. I just saw it almost looked more pink than anything, but that's how beautiful those little birds are. They're not quite big, they're quite small. So I think that's what I saw fluttering around. I'm going to go to the next picture. Oh, that's even prettier with a guinea fowl feather in its mouth. But lovely little birds. So we'll see if we can find some more of them. They like this area too. Who's making all this noise now? Some birds, can you see them? Seb jumping around that dead knobthorn. Well, it's not dead, it just hasn't got any leaves. Or maybe it is a dead one. That smaller one. Lots of little birds. Who's that? A fork-tailed drongo that we can see straight away. Have you got any friends in the tree with you? I'm actually going to just quickly scan with my eyes. Can't see anyone else bouncing about. Off it goes. Oh, barbets seem to be the most common bird in this area at the moment. Hello, crested francolins. Are you the ones that were alarming just now? What did you see? Can you speak to me, please? No. They refuse to learn English, these birds. I think it might have been them that were alarming earlier. Mita, you're wondering if I could team up with an animal, this is quite a cool question, to survive in the wild, who would I choose? It's a tough one. You know, do you go with the predators that could potentially help, you know, catch you dinner? If you're okay, yeah, if you want to have meat and stuff like that, it'd probably be easier. Whether the lions would share with you, I don't know. I'm going to go with elephant again. I think elephants are so useful because they could also help you with pulling big trees and things like that. You know, they can be working animals. You could climb right up to the tops of trees and give them fruit that maybe they couldn't reach. Maybe the tree was too big for them to shake and it wasn't going to drop the fruit. So that's another thing. Oh yeah, I'd go with an elephant meter. I think that would be a good one. You could swim on the elephant's back if you needed to cross the river that had crocodiles or something, and you see they're very handy, these creatures. There's some impala just in there, but they don't seem too bothered about anything, in fact. They look very relaxed. You just see them there. Not a big herd, just a couple of them. All munching away at the moment. No oxpeckers? No oxpeckers on this group. I wonder where the big ram is, because there's a female was in front and she's sort of leading the way, guiding all of these youngsters. You can see there's a fair amount of juveniles in this herd. Don't you have a big ram to help you and to protect you? There's also, if you look just up to the left, there's a go-away bird. It's actually quite pretty on that dead tree. The one straight to your left. It's hopping up now to the top. Your left, straight left of you. Can you see? If you look with your eyes, not there where the impala are. Directly. Yeah. There's a go-away bird. Now, the impala was looking straight towards that go-away bird, but sort of in the thicket below it. It was staring as if there was something waiting in there to pounce, but the go-away bird hasn't given an alarm call, so I think, girl, it's safe to walk down there. Because they're great at alarming. Look at that, posing in the sun for you. That's very pretty with its crest all fluffed up. You look like you're going to fly now. Yes, you are. You're going to jump to the next branch. There it is. It's just going all the way to the top. And also by doing so, not only is it going to be able to get the warm rays of the sun, but it'll have a better view of what's down below. It looks like it's scanning about too, looking for leopards. But not too sure just yet. Ooh, right to the top now. It's amazing how they can balance, and it looks like it's going to fly again. Bye, birdie. Right, let's keep going. Yeah. Red brick thorn, you've said, is that the go-away bird? It is. What is wrong with you, praying mantis? I'll save you. Are you trapped on a stick? Why are you caught on the stick? Oh, shame, your little leg. Wait. Sorry, hang on, I'm going to bring it up. Don't panic. There we go, you are free. Shame, this little praying mantis that you can see here was trapped in a piece of grass. I don't know, its back leg looks severely damaged. I'm just missing the little tip of it, and it's crawling along. It was just off of the side of the road, and I saw this piece of grass moving, and I thought, well, hang on, that's not the wind that's causing that. And then I looked closer, and I saw this tiny little mantis. It's very small. I'll put my thumb just behind it so you can see in relation how tiny it is. No, don't fall to your death. Okay, let me put it back. Be safe, little one. I know you're injured. Off we go. Put it in the leaves so at least that it can get away. Now you see, this is the hardest part, is trying to get in and not get tangled in your own earpiece cable. There you go. Little praying mantis. They'll be doing quite well, should be doing quite well at this time of the year, because now the colours blend in beautifully. I mean, that was almost invisible. Almost, but I managed to spot it with my eyes. Still no tracks. Odie Georgia, you've said that you'd love to see some big and colourful insects. Well, this is the wrong time of the year, I'm afraid, to see all of them. They've been devoured by most of the birds, and also all the caterpillars and things have already transformed into butterflies and moths and have gone about their day. Even a lot of those caterpillars, a lot of those moths and butterflies probably have died by now. They don't have a very long lifespan. Well, not all of them. So unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until next year, until we get our first rains, and then a couple of weeks after that, then we see a sort of nice boost of lots of insects in the bush. But in winter, because of the chilly weather as well, we don't see too many of them. The occasional grasshopper that we'll watch a magpie shrike eat or a hornbill eat. We might see some termites, but they're not big and colourful. We'll see. We'll keep an eye out for any cool insects. That was actually lucky that we saw that praying mantis, in fact. Now, I'm not sure where this leopard has gone. It's proving to be quite difficult. Maybe we're going to have to do a drive up the Mulwati and see if those tracks don't come down in that drainage line. Anyways, not having luck with the cats. Eventually we'll get there, though. Going to send you across to Ali now, and she's also had some time to think about what animal she'd team up with in the bush.
Well, it's interesting to think which animal I would team up with, but I think it would probably be a big pride of lions. I would feel very safe amongst a big pride of lions, and also with tiny little ones to play with and just cuddle up next to them when I'm cold and have them hunt for me. I think lions it would be, for sure. So I like big families, probably because I was born into one that's got a massive amount of members all over the world. So I think lions would be a good one for me. What about you, Craig? If you had to team up with one animal in the world, which one would it be? A rhino, that's a good call. They are very pretty creatures, so I think I like you a bit more now for that answer. But yes, it is interesting how all of our brains work differently and how we would how we choose different things. Now I'm hoping that if I do team up with lions in the next live, that maybe they'll come and join us on this one. Because also we've had very little luck even with tracks. No tracks for lions, no tracks for leopards. And when we were checking around down there, also nothing that would pretty much indicate towards a cat being around this area. I think Taylor has come closest with the tracks that she found, so I think we are going to abandon the cat family entirely, and we're slowly making our way towards the hyena den, see if perhaps the hyena family is there and maybe a bit friendlier. I think the weather is playing quite an important part today in the fact that we've had none of these creatures around, but quite refreshing to know that they haven't come into Djuma, walked all around Djuma, and then come out again. Maybe it'll be quite a hot day like it was yesterday. Fingers crossed we'll have some more reptiles. I'm still so happy that we managed to see that snake, that buff adder. That was quite unique. I haven't seen snakes for a while, but I'm also hoping for a big python. That would be nice, like a big python. We've got some crazy impala running ahead of us. What is happening? Snoozy, you're wondering what is the most beautiful animal to me? A beautiful big male lion. I think they are quite beautiful. Zebras I absolutely love as well. And I think impala are quite pretty in their own way. Now, impalas are going... Oh no, it's just a male chasing everyone. I was getting so excited. They were all running around like crazy things, like full speed. So I was hoping maybe the wild dogs were somewhere around here. But now it's just one male gone crazy. Guys, what's happening? Why are you running like this? Maybe... Oh, there they go. Still in front of us, 3 males. Having a dispute. Alright, maybe impalas just have gone entirely crazy this morning. We have seen another example of them not being the soundest of creatures today. I don't know what's happening with them. I think maybe they cannot be trusted. But my heart did stop for a second when we saw all of the herd running and they were prunking and bouncing, and I was like, oh, maybe the wild dogs are back. But no, I think this was just a case of males gone crazy. Colleen, you were wondering the last time we saw wild dogs. Well, I think the last time that we had them was that time that I had them on Chitwa Dam, those 3 from the Lower Sabi breakaway pack. Now I know there are a few different, there have been sightings around in some of the reserves further south from us, from the Sabi Sand, I think it's the Sabi Sand pack, because they are denning just south of the southern, south of us, let's just put it that way, that's easier. But we haven't seen them around here. We've had reports of them coming around and moving around, but unfortunately no animals per se. Now we are at Kruger Dam, and also there seems to be some crazy impala running and bouncing and prunking in the distance. Now that type of jumping around, that's very typical of when there are wild dogs around, and it's believed that they do that just to show off their fitness and be like, oh, don't eat me, eat the next one, type of thing. And that's why they jump. And normally when the wild dogs are around, unlike impala, they don't they don't start making an alarm call. They just start running, because wild dogs can run they've got a lot of stamina, so they can run for quite a while. And impalas can be quite terrified of them. Kylie, you're wondering if an impala would alarm call at something like a serval. Yeah, definitely. Like a serval, a caracal as well. So, look at that prunking. I was actually thinking that perhaps there was a smaller cat earlier on. Perhaps there was a serval where we were, but we checked around every single bush we could think of, and we just even didn't see anything. So who knows, maybe we had another mystery cat. I have a feeling that in the near future we're going to find one of the smaller cats. There they go again, jumping like crazy. Maybe they've just only started waking up and that's why they're doing that. I think most of the ones that are showing up seem to be the youngsters. Just as you're wondering if impala see humans as a predator, well, not in this specific area because we don't hunt them or approach them in any wrong way. I think maybe they're not as relaxed as sometimes the lions and the leopards can be, or even the elephants, because we don't off-road for them, so we don't approach the herd and stay with them outside of the roads. I think also it's in their nature to be somewhat wary of everything that's around them, just in case. But in areas where impalas get hunted, then perhaps you'll see that they're not as happy to be seen by a vehicle as they are now. Seems like Gowrie Dam is the place to be. All the impala are slowly coming down to the water for a drink. I think maybe they're thirsty after all this jumping around. Josh, you say that they must be happy that there are no lions around. I am sure they are very happy. Also, they are probably happy there are no leopards around. Yeah, you guys have been jumping around like crazy things. It's time to come and have a drink. I don't know what's up with impala today. I think the weather's getting to their heads. That's going to be my official version of what's just happened with this one. And then, of course, the oxpecker found a non-jumping impala to lie on, or to stand on, rather. I don't think that impala was too happy. There's like quite a nice big herd of them, and this is the big herd that we have that likes to spend most of its time on quarantine, and they always move there towards the end of our sunset safari, and that's where they sleep. Quarantine is a very good place for all of them to sleep because it's nice and open, gives them a bit of an idea of what's all around them. So that is good. Now what is that moving at the back? Oh no, nothing. Starting to imagine things now. Alright, you jumping impala. Dear watcher, you're wondering if there are any crocodiles in here. No crocodiles in this dam, as far as I know. I think they have been seen here before, but for the time being, they're not in there. That's why the impala are so happy to approach the water, and they pretty much come straight to it because they've just gotten used to the fact that there are no crocs here. If we were to see them perhaps coming for a drink at Chitwa Dam, where there's a very big crocodile, I think they would probably take a bit more time and would be a lot more careful when approaching the water. Because here they're just very happy. Alright guys, we are going to leave the impala, who just seem to be finishing off their last little drinks, as well as the one oxpecker that we can spot from this area. And we are going to carry on in the direction of the hyena den, see if maybe any of the hyenas are out and about. Maybe they'll be jumping around like crazy hooligans, just like the impala were, whooping around. Can you imagine hyenas going whoop, whoop, whoop? That would be quite funny. But hopefully they'll be there, because I know it's taking them a while lately when the weather's like this. It seems like they spend a lot more time out and about rather than coming back into the den. And then I thought I'd see something there, but no. Lots of leopard logs and lion logs in this general area. Okay, let's go. Whoop. Alrighty. Let's see if we can find anything else around here. And like I said, not even elephant tracks. I think maybe the ellies are a bit cold still with the weather being the way it is, and they're probably just hanging out in drainage lines very much further into the blocks, just warming up. And as it starts warming up, then that's when they're gonna maybe start coming out a bit more into the open when the weather's a bit nicer and they're not afraid of being cold. Still keeping an eye all around here. What are these tracks? No tracks. Fly away, little dove. Alrighty, lots of marula trees, and I think this area, we were talking about the effect that winter has on plants and the environment, and I think just around this area there are lots of knobthorns and marula, so it becomes a bit more obvious that it is the winter time, because pretty much all the marulas around here, they have lost their leaves, and the knobthorns here haven't started getting their flowers yet. It might take them a while longer. So it's mostly guari bushes that we get all throughout here that still have their leaves, because guari bushes are what's called to be an evergreen tree, so they won't, their leaves might turn into a lighter color, more of a yellowish color perhaps if it gets very dry, but they will still have green leaves on them all year round. Doug, you're wondering if fires are an issue during the winter in the Sabi sand. They can be. It's everything's so dry that, can you imagine just going like this and flicking a little flame into the bush? It would just cause a massive instant fire. So the fire breaks are very well maintained at this time of the year, just in case the fire does start, that they'll be able to stop at a certain point. But very windy days that we've had, that's when everyone's a bit more concerned that something might happen by accident, and the wind is probably one of the worst things to have when you have a fire, because it just fuels the fire that much more, like they had in the thunderstorms in Cape Town and those massive fires around the Naisna area. I think natural fires occurring at this time of the year, we don't really have to worry about it all too much yet, but coming closer towards the summer season, when we start getting those electrical storms and lots of lightning, that's when everyone starts worrying a little bit, because it's still dry enough that just one spark might be able to set everything on fire. And then about 2 years ago we had a massive fire in the Sabi sand that pretty much burnt all of the north and a good part of the south of the Sabi sand, and lodges were even almost burning down because they couldn't control the fires because of the wind that was coming in. So I think for now we are fine. Hopefully won't be too much of a concern. But fires are also a natural thing, so a lot of these areas need the fires to be able to carry on having a healthy condition. So there are programmed fires that are done in certain parts of a reserve at certain times of the year, but they are controlled fires, and it's just to stimulate either the growth of new plant species or to try and burn off old plant material. Because if you imagine, if you don't burn an area for a few years at a time in areas that would normally burn in the natural world, then you have just this massive amount of fuel load just waiting for pretty much a disaster to happen. Now, I think the best thing that we can hope for here is just massive herd of elephants coming down and then just squashing all the grass so that we can see a bit further into the bushes. And I wonder if we're gonna spot another impala carcass on top of a tree. I still cannot get over that finding from Taylor of how there had been a leopard probably watching all of us for so many days, and none of us really managed to pick it up. Tristan, the Safari Live Tristan, is really bored and he's watching the show, so he is wondering where are Grant Beverly's marshmallows. Now Grant Beverly, he's the expert on the wild dog research, and he's also a very close friend of ours, and Grant is always teasing me that I need to bring him marshmallows. So Tristan, please tell Grant that I'll give him marshmallows next time he takes me to see any wild dogs, because it seems like Grant only takes you to have fun darting wild dogs and lions and who knows what else. So I'll get Grant marshmallows next time. Oh my. So in case you were wondering, Tristan is on leave and he's having a wonderful time. Just going around and spending a lot more time again in the wild. I don't think we ever get a break from it, and it's not a bad thing. We do it on purpose. So I'm a bit jealous of the amazing last few days that he has had. But yeah, Grant, you owe me wild dogs. I'll give you marshmallows once you stick to your end of the deal. Alright, hyena den, we are on your way. I don't know if I should feel optimistic or not, because It almost feels like it's going to rain, doesn't it, Craig? Yeah, it feels like it's moisty. Hopefully it will not rain. I would really prefer if it didn't rain. Okay. Now this is the tough part. Alright. Sometimes I feel like when we go down these hills, that if we lose our brakes, we might just like face plant the vehicle into and then just flip over. I know that's probably not physically possible, but that is the feeling that I get every time we go down some of these dips. Now, I wouldn't mind if there was a leopard walking around here, maybe something like Mvula, and apparently we need to look up into all the marula trees, because that seems where leopards seem to be hanging out in the last few days. Ah, look at that. No, we're still far from the hyena den, so we're still going to slowly make our way there. And I think it'll take us another 10-15 minutes. Alright, let's see. Okay, we are going to carry on our way to the hyena den, but while we do that, let's go to Taylor, who's admiring the yellow grass and the trees.
That's exactly what we seem to be doing. Now, there's a leopard in the area. I don't know who it is, but my leopard senses are tingling, and also because we had fresh leopard dung tracks and all sorts of wonderful things, but we can't find it. It walked all the way on Mumba Road. I think it's the same cat we've been looking for. And then big loop in the Mulwati and came back up towards Battalier Road, which we've driven a whole bunch of times. But that also doesn't make any sense because we had leopard tracks coming down in Yala Road south towards that junction. So maybe there's more than one cat around that's walking up and down. So I don't know where to look anymore. I'm on Ingwe Road, or the Jigga Road as it's also called. No sign here, no tracks, but I lost those tracks that I had in the thick sand. I think they actually went straight up the drainage line towards the big dam wall. So we'll go around here, and then I think we'll go back down Warburg Eagles Road, and maybe we'll jump onto one of those two tracks on the other side off of Central that come down and into that drainage behind the dam wall, just east of the dam wall. Maybe they're in there, or we'll go back onto Twin Dams. There's a couple of roads you can do exactly the same thing on. Nothing at Chele Pan, but the tracks I didn't think came up that way. I think they'd gone, like I said, straight in the Mulwati. A bit tricky, I don't know what's actually going on, and because it is so cool, they could still just be moving around, so we could just be 10 steps behind them, which is not ideal. But the animals need some privacy at times soon, but we're pretty persistent investigators, so we'll keep going. We'll just keep going round and round those areas and hope that we find something popping up onto the road. What's this? Somewhere that we can see them. Let's have a quick look at these kudu. Hi kudu. You guys seem to be the only animals that want to show yourselves today. That's alright. There's one there. There's a little gap of a kudu. You hear the brown-hooded kingfisher calling? That chit 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 chit. It's sitting behind us somewhere. It sounds like the lions that were on Buffelshoek somewhere have also disappeared into the Kruger National Park. So there's no chances of them coming back this way. Well, I think for this morning's safari. I don't know which lions those were, if they were the Torchwood Pride, or if they were in the Agama Pride. Oh, Michelle, sorry, thank you for reminding me. You want me to tell you about the lion tracking story. Now, I'll never forget it. I think I've actually told it before. It was so great. So when you track, and this is particular to the southern sands, is when you go tracking or you pick up tracks, you call those tracks in, and you're only allowed to have 3 vehicles driving in that area searching for those tracks. Obviously it makes it easier because you know where the ones you find, you know which direction that they're going in. If you have 50 people driving over, the chances of those tracks being squashed are greater, and also then to try and figure up a lineup if one of you find those, lion, or if you find those animals that you were searching for, that becomes a whole another disaster. So it's easier, because then the vehicles that were tracking the animals, they go into the sighting, and then you can be put on standby after that. So oh, there's a beautiful big kudu bull. Sarah, no, you were asking about kudu, and you said that this was your first time. Well, here's a beautiful big kudu bull now, after just seeing the youngsters. So we unfortunately didn't get onto the tracks first, and they tracked for most of the morning. For about 2 hours, everybody eventually moved out of the area, and my tracker Candy said to me, Taylor, let's go have a look at the last footprints. He says, I have a good feeling today. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go. So we go to the last tracks, and we're going to go in on foot. So I made my guests tea and coffee, and I said, here we go, enjoy this, we'll be back in a little bit, don't panic, if an animal walks past, just enjoy it, don't stand and don't do anything silly. So we go walking, we're following, we see where the other trackers and guides were walking around, and he says, Candy's showing me the tracks, and I kid you not, toes of this male lion, just toes, that's it, not even the back pad. It's like he was tiptoeing around. So off we go, we follow, and then he says, they're the human tracks, they go this way, but look, this is where the lion tracks go. But they were so hard to see, and they crossed in the opposite way through a drainage line. We must have walked following these tracks for about 15 minutes, and we stopped. He said hima, which means wait, stop. So I stopped, and we listened. We could hear a rustling in the grass, and we just stood up behind a guarri tree, and there was this male lion sitting in the distance, just happily avoiding everybody for the last 2 hours. So that was really cool. So then we obviously were so excited, we raced back to the car, jumped in, told the guests the good news, and we came and drove in, and we got them. Obviously everyone was happy, because we called the other guides that were initially tracking them into that same sighting, because they'd put in so much effort, and they were smiling from ear to ear. It doesn't matter who finds the animal in the end, of course. It's just nice to have an opportunity to see them, and particularly for all the guests. So that's my lion story. It was one of my most memorable experiences. It just showed me how easy it is to actually miss tracks, to have 3 different trackers walking in and just overlooking an entire area. So I was very lucky. I still remain that Candy is one of the best trackers I've ever worked with. He was so great, and Herbie, of course, Rexon, and all of them are great. They're fantastic. But I obviously worked with Candy every single day. He sat in the front of my car. He was part of my guest's entire experience, and he always pulled through when we were desperately needing a cat. He managed to find one. It was just, honestly, it was just amazing what he could do. But all guides have had many encounters with animals on foot, whether you're on bushwalk or you are just out tracking. Some of them more pleasant than others, some of them a little bit sort of hair-raising experiences that you can have. But luckily we haven't had too many of those. Oh, here's a hippo. That's actually a very nice hippo track. You go back. And you can smell the Jennets have been here too. You can smell their popcorn smell. Yeah, I smelt it earlier, and I said, let's see if we can get that. I'd said, yeah, the Jennets have here. I've actually got all their tracks. We'll see if we can show you a Jennet track as well. But here's a very nice hippo footprint. I don't know where these hippos are though, because they're not at Buffelshoek Dam, and they weren't in yet Vuyatela. Have a look. It's a rather large track, not as big as what I've seen if I put my hand in. I'm going to actually put my handprint in the middle. Yeah, I don't think you can actually see it very you can't see it very well. There's a toe, that's another toe, and there's the 4th one just over there, going this way on an animal pathway. And like this, the smell of this Jennet is all over. The tracks are just here. I just want to find a very clear one, because there's some really nice ones that have been pressed in the sand. Okay, these are tiny. Can you see in a circle? And you see in there's the pad, doop, doop, and the little toes. Just over there. So it was running up and down. And there's one that lives around here. We've actually got it on camera very briefly before, down in the drainage line. So it just goes up and down, moving around all the time. I just want to check, there's an animal pathway right in front of me, which I suspect that this is the ones that the hippos were using too. Walking down on it, just to make sure that there aren't any leopard tracks here while I'm off the car. No, doesn't look like it. So it's definitely the Jennets that were urinating here, or scent marking here, and that's what we can smell. Okay, let's carry on. Let's continue with our initial plan. We'll go down Wahlberg's. Oh no, now I've got a stick. I think I lost it though. I lose it. Tiny little stick. Just catching up in the tire tread. You see the tire tread is quite large. And then it gets stuck up and it spins and it gets caught in all sorts of things. But we'll keep searching, going around and around, and hopefully a spotted cat will pop up. Ali has got a zebra crossing right in front of her.
We do. We have found a zebra crossing. Ha ha ha. Now, I wonder if perhaps this is the herd that Taylor had a bit earlier on, because they have been steadily moving to the north, and it's good to see who's been around here, because often we drive on this road and we see so many zebra tracks and very few zebra. So I'm happy that this mystery has been solved, and likely they're going to carry on going. If they carry on in this direction, they might end up at Buffelshoek, so stick around, zebras, because we like seeing all of you. And this particular one that we're looking at, it's almost like it's a bit lighter in the legs than some of the other zebras around here. It's almost like it's gone through maybe a bleach process, and the stripes on the legs are not that obvious. Now, the stripes on this species of zebra, especially around the legs, they tend to be a bit lighter in color, but I think this individual is also a bit of a strange character. And there we go, we've got two zebras together, but they look like one. Sometimes I wish I could have a pet zebra. Yes, yet you're wondering if zebras prefer green grass to this yellow grass. Well, I think all creatures prefer the nice and nutritional green grass over this yellow grass, but there isn't too much green grass all around. It's actually very hard to find, and only closer to some of the drainage lines and dry riverbeds and rivers will you find closer shoots. But zebras are also fuzzy, and they only drink the grass that grows at a certain length. So if it's too long, they don't like it. It's got to be right about the perfect height for them. So they can't really choose too much what they want to eat. They've just got to make do with what's available for them. Now they're all coming onto the termite mound. And it would be quite nice if one of them decided to go all the way up there. But now you get also a bit of an idea of how easily a black and white animal hides in the sea of yellow. If you can imagine driving past them, it can be quite tricky to see them. I think maybe they're enjoying some of the grass around the termite mound. Normally termites, when they are alive and when their mounds are active, they recycle a lot of nutrients that they take from the bottom part of the soil layer, and then they put it back up, and that's how they start building their mounds. So a lot of the times the grass that's found around the mounds can be slightly of higher nutritional value, although this one is still quite dry. I don't think it's going to get any better until we start the rainy season. But funny enough, we felt a few droplets of water on our cheeks as we were driving by, so I think that is a beautiful view. So the air definitely feels very charged in terms of water, so I wonder if maybe we're going to have a bit of a shower. Now, it would be quite unusual at this time of the year, but I think about 3 weeks ago, the guys got wet out on drive, and roughly around September, then we get some early summer showers. But very odd things. Natalie, you're wondering if the zebra's coat gets thick for the winter. Well, the coat of a lot of creatures gets thicker, but yes, the hair is just slightly thicker, and then they start molting again in the summertime and losing a bit of their hair, just to accommodate for higher temperatures. Happens with a lot of the creatures that we've got around here. I do think this is one of the prettiest animals around. And if you wonder about, we were talking about earlier about what certain animals smell like, zebras also don't smell too bad. They smell almost like a horse, which is not too bad of a smell. Are you disagreeing with me? No. Do you smell better than a horse? Good thing is, I judge the smell. If we are a distance from them and we can't smell them, then they must smell nice. Capel, you're wondering what the zebras are doing with their tails. Well, the zebras and some of the other ungulates that we have in this area have got long tails to try and swat the flies away from their body. So they use it to repel the flies and might try and land on top of them. And sometimes I think maybe in this particular occasion they're also getting tangled up in the grass, and the grass might be tickling their back legs, so they just move the tails to get the grass off of them. Alright, seems like there was an annoying piece of grass there. Alright guys, I think we are going to leave the zebra to their doings, and we're going to carry on down this road. I don't think we are too far from the hyena den, and hopefully there will be somebody at home, or at least up and about. I'm counting on little Naughty and Djuma being a playful thing this morning. Hopefully she will be, as yesterday we didn't get a glimpse of the youngsters. Alright, here we are turning. Let's get this stuff sorted. Come on, Wendy! You can do this! Go! I feel like if I stand like this, it helps. Very likely it doesn't. But then what's life without exaggeration? Woo! Are you still there, Craig? You are? Alright. Approaching the den. Come on, hyenas! Be here. Alright. It is a very complicated way to get into this den. Now I am hoping that someone is home, although by the looks of it, it doesn't seem that way. Oh, and Djuma's here. They're both here. Hello, little girls. Oh. Oh my god, you are the cutest little thing. I don't think I can handle this. Look at that. Just hiding. Keeping warm, the two of you. Oh, that is a precious moment for the two of them. To climb on top of the other one. Oh, this is a proper cuteness overload. Look at those perfectly round ears. Hello guys, good to see you. Are you a bit sleepy? Aw, you're lucky that you've got a playmate, don't you? Both of you. It is a very beautiful thing between the two of them, and you see typical hyena, that movement where they put their nose up and just try to catch the scent and anything that might be floating around. Now, I can't really see any of the adults here, so I'm not too sure if perhaps they are on the other side of the mound. So I'm just going to stick around for a few moments and maybe scan the area while these two are quite happy and sleepy there. But if we don't see any of the adults, then we're going to have to leave the den, because we're not allowed to spend too much time here if they are not here. Oh, that is such a precious little face. Look at that. I think these two are becoming some of my favorite little creatures around. And just because they sleep one on top of the other. Now, I'm sure it's the weather that's affecting everyone, and that's why they're sleeping the way that they are now. And it's a lot more comfortable where you can sleep on top of another hyena, isn't it? You agree, hey? Now, normally, the hyenas will have a babysitter, an adult that stays behind and looks after the youngsters. But I can't really see any of them around here. Now, there's also at the back of the termite mound, we know that that's where the adults like to hang out. So I wonder if perhaps some of them are at the back there. This is too much. Tess, you're wondering between them? Perhaps a little bit more. but they're still both of them quite young, and they are confined to remaining in the den while the adults go out hunting and marking their territory and fighting and whatever else that they might want to get up to during the night. So this is safety, this is home for them. They used to be at another den at a certain distance from here, and in the last few weeks we believe they've just been making home of this beautiful termite mound, which is a perfect setting for them. There's a hole behind where the two of them are, so if there was anything that would make them feel threatened, they could very quickly go back down into the mound and then just be safe away from anything. Now also, the both of them very young. You see that they are of dark colors, especially the younger one. They only start getting lighter and start getting the spots as they get older. But when they are so small and tiny, that dark color just, if they were to hurry back down the den, it also allows them to blend in a little bit better in the den, and making it harder for anyone to be able to spot them once they go down there. Sarah, you're saying that their ears are huge. Well, they are, and they act as very good satellite dishes, picking up all the noises and everything that's around them. So they, as you can imagine, they've got a very good sense of hearing. Although I think these little ones still need to grow into their ears. But even as adults, one of the most prominent features of a hyena are just those very big ears. You guys are so cute. And I think this is the perfect way to spend this morning. It seems like the little cub is not moving. Doesn't matter what Djuma tries to do. I think maybe you're getting a bit impatient there. Oh, you're so cute. James, you're saying you're surprised at how often they are outside of the den. Well, I would assume that it gets a bit boring inside of the den. Not too many things to come around, and then also they want to come out here. There's so many things that can stimulate them, that they can hear, that they can smell. But they're also quite, by instinct, quite clever, and they know that this is a safe area, so they would not wander off too far on their own. And now... I think maybe they have been sleeping inside for too long, and that's why they've decided now to spend some time outside. I wonder, there's something that they are looking at in the distance, but I can't figure out what it is. You two are so adorable. Dear watcher, you're wondering if the older one eats meat now. I haven't seen it eat meat. They normally start only eating little pieces of meat at around about 5 months old, and I think this one might not be 5 months old yet. And they only go out and eat meat if either perhaps one of the parents on occasion brings something back to the den, or if there's a kill nearby, then they might just try that. But otherwise, if not, then they just purely survive on milk, and they can suckle for almost a year and a half sometimes. They have a the mothers provide a very nutritious milk, and it's believed that part of the reason why that milk is so nutritious is because of that high content in calcium in their diet. That allows them to produce a lot more milk, or for a lot longer than some of the other creatures, because it's a very late weaning age for them. I mean, if you think about it, most animals are weaned at around about 4-6 months old, and these guys for about a year, and sometimes even up to 2 years, are carried on being suckled by their mothers. Oh no, I don't want to get down. Michael, you're wondering how long this bond will between the two of them last. Well, likely until the little one starts getting older. And hyenas are very competitive nature amongst them. So once they start trying to prove who's of a higher rank, then I reckon that bond is going to start severing, not being as beautiful as it is now. But I think probably we have a few months ahead of us, and these two being quite tolerant of each other. They only have each other to play with. So Intima's actually still being quite gentle. Normally the little hyenas, they can be quite, they can bully each other quite a lot, and you'll see them biting one, especially if it's a lower ranked or if it's a cub from a lower ranked female. Yep, off we go. We are tired. It's cold out here. See, Intima's very clever at keeping guard and knowing what's around. So she also knows that the safest place is to go down there, and so does the little cub. It'll just follow Intima around. Seems like it's learning a few tricks. Shame, but I think the little cub is quite cold, so wherever Intima goes, that's where the little cub is gonna go, just for warmth. I don't think you can sit on top of her. Oh, that is so sweet. I think the smaller cub is forcing Intima onto this bond. Very beautiful. Alright guys, I'm going to investigate around the den, see if perhaps the adults are here so that we can stick around for a while longer. But if they are not here, then I'm gonna have to leave them, which is a little bit unfortunate because we all enjoy the company of these little hyenas. But while I do that, we can go over to Taylor that's got something that she found at last.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea the sigh of relief, because it's bothering me. I got no sleep last night because I've been thinking about the num num plant that I was trying to find yesterday. This is the Carissa bispinosa. It's a beautiful plant. It's tucked away under another shrub. This is the other one I was telling you about that was on the what is this road called? Twin Dams Road. Now, if we have a nice look at them. Now, I know a lot of you think, why on earth do we need to know Latin names? They are pointless. Not all of them, and this is actually quite a nice example of how cool a Latin name can actually be. So, Carissa bispinosa, as I said. So, Carissa is quite a large genus of plants, and that part of the name actually comes from an Indian word which describes a poisonous glucotoxin that it has, glucoside, sorry, that is inside the bark, called Carricin, something like that. I've forgotten exactly what it was, but not a nice one. Now, I was telling you yesterday about this plant having a milky latex, and it's one of the few plants that you can actually eat the fruit. Now, that's still a little fruit. I'm going to actually move away from the car. I was just looking at exactly what Seb was talking about. But another nice part, of course, the second part of the Latin name is bispinosa, and that just describes the two spines that they do have on the plant. Now, it's quite big, and they can grow quite tall, not more than about between 3 to 5 meters. So this is quite a small one, but it's wide. So it starts over here, and it actually extends right to where those quarries have fallen. There's lots of fruit. You can see it starts off green. Let me show you these ones on this side. Over here. They're going to turn red. These are going to be delicious. I can't wait to eat them. I think that little red one is not quite ripe just yet. I might try it though. And it isn't uncommon to see fruit and flowers on this tree at the same time. Here's some flowers that are growing just off of it. And they smell very, very nice. Now, it's a lovely tree. Like I was saying, you call it Bushman's bubblegum. Let me try this little one. Let's see if it is ready. Might be a little bit excited. It's not quite there. Let me poke my head out for you. It's getting there. It's so nice. Now, a little bit bitter just because it's slightly underripe. I'm going to search for some more. I don't even know how to describe the flavor to you, but it's delicious. And when they do get big and juicy, like those green ones that I showed you, you can chew and chew and chew for ages. And the skin sort of stays around and it goes like chewing gum. The skin is not nice on this one. Let's just get rid of it there. But it's great. Lots of birds will be around here. It's a great smelling plant too. It's a good one to have in your garden. And slightly drought resistant too, and wind resistant. Not too affected by those two things. What else can I tell you about this plant? Oh, you can use the roots. Seen as Ali was telling you about toothache yesterday with the knob thorns. That's the most common one we talk about with help alleviating toothache. You can actually use the roots of this plant to do exactly the same thing. But it's lovely. I've got a bitter taste in my mouth. Maybe I need to find a better one. Come out here and see. If I look very carefully, I might find another fruit that's maybe slightly more ripe. No, not yet. There's a couple of, one or two more, but not as ripe as the one that I ate. But I'm so happy. I put in a lot of work. This is not the one I wanted to show you. That one is much bigger than this, but it's down somewhere in the thicket. I couldn't find it, but here we go. Finally. Now, where's my earphone cable? I've lost it. There it is. Get that plugged back in. Yay, finally. It took long enough to get it again. Sorry, Seb, watch your head now as we go back through and underneath this bush willow. Almost. There we go. Thanks. Wait. Don't worry about me. I drive everyone else through enough trees. I don't mind if I get whacked on the back of the head every now and then. Going through a little bit of a mud wallow. This is actually one of the favorite spots that Tingana normally walks when he comes through this route. When there was water, he'd always stop here and have a drink and then go back to the drainage line. Wow, finally! I'm so happy that we got that tree. Now I need to just find the other one, but I won't bore you with that search. We'll do that in between game drives at some point. But it would be nice to find it again, because there's, like I said, there's 2 dwarf boerbeens that grow about there. Now, you're wondering if all the plants in South Africa have thorns. No, actually no, not all of them. Some of them have spines, but quite a few species do, and that's of course just to protect the tree. But if you look here, one we've been talking about quite a bit of, the guarri trees, which have just got little flowers at the moment. You can see they're looking very pretty. They don't have any thorns, or they have no spines at all. What they've got to protect themselves is something slightly different. They have a chemical defense, so they've got quite a lot of tannins being produced. And if you take one of those leaves and you put it in your mouth and bite it, I'm not going to do it because I've got enough of a bitter aftertaste from that unripened fruit. Your mouth goes completely dry. It's like your salivary glands dry up. And that's all the tannins, and that's what it does to the animals. So it's not necessarily the nicest tree to feed on, but it's great in terms of conservation. Those leaves are lovely. They don't burn very easily, so if you need a very quick sort of fire beater, this is the one that I would go for. Break a branch off, and I've done it a couple of times. It works really well. It's a nice tree to have. But there we go. We're going to keep coming around here over the next few weeks, because I'm going to see how many guarri berries I can eat before I feel sick. They're my absolute favorite. They're so delicious. But like I was saying to you yesterday, I haven't had a good one. I've only ever eaten really nice ones in the Eastern Cape. And the most common guarri is Euclea undulata, the common guarri. We have more of the Natalensis and the Crispa and the Divinorum. We see more of them around here. But there are a couple of undulatas, so we'll see if we can't find some of them. They all look so similar as well. Some leaves are just slightly bigger than others, or a different shade of green. But we'll keep looking. Sassy B, you said that you love learning about the plants. Oh, there we go. There's one for the books, and we'll keep doing them over the next few drives. Obviously, plants are really great, and it's nice to have a decent knowledge of them. What was that? No, it was bird feces that I was looking at. Caught my eye. It's a great way to fill the gaps in a game drive. So it's not always all about going on safari and finding the big things, though it is nice to see cats. But sometimes just to stop and take a look at the plants is also quite lovely. Just trying to see if there's anything else around here that's got any fruit on it. Not just yet though. Okay, so we'll just keep going. See what else is about. Woo! No, Rusty, don't do that. Goodness gracious. Rusty all of a sudden had a mind of its own and decided it was going to go into the left, into the bush. Right, well, I'm going to try and keep all 4 tires on the road and keep going straight. I'm going to send you back across to Ali, and it's getting to that time where she should start feeling a little bit hungry.
Unfortunately, guys, we had to leave the den because we couldn't see any of the adults around. So den rules are den rules. and we have had to move on. But we had a very nice view of those two little ones. Know that they're still fine and that they're looking so preciously cute. Now, I'm not too sure where to go because we are also feeling quite hungry, and we have started wondering already what Amanda will have for breakfast for us. That would be... I think it's better not to know because that would make me even hungrier now. But I want to drive maybe around here, see if perhaps we can pick up on any animals. And I'm just surprised at how few trucks we've had this morning. Yesterday we had lion trucks pretty much walking everywhere, and I think at least some surprises of leopard tracks here and there, and this morning it seems like everyone's just gone somewhere else. So I'm not too sure what everyone's been up to during the night. I do know that lions being lions likely have been moving, but they haven't really been found in too many places, or at least the ones that have been found are not in places where we can go to. But I think it's always good to know that they're still alive and well, and that everyone's doing fine, even if we can't see them. Alright, even quarantine is very quiet at this time of the morning. Normally there are lots of birds fluttering around, and impala, kudu, wildebeest, those 30 odd wildebeest that seem to have been living here for the last little while, also not around. So I think maybe there's another road that goes onto the drainage line down there, and we shall carry on exploring there, see what we can find there, perhaps another hyena. That would be an interesting one to try and spot on the nice open plains of Djuma. Yes, yet you're wondering how long can hyenas survive without food? Well, they can survive for a few days at a time, like a lot of the predators around this area. So whenever they do find food, they gorge themselves and they eat as much as possible. Right, there is a lilac-breasted roller on top of the tree over there in one of the branches. It's just not flown away, which I'm very happy about. And actually the only way where we picked it up was because it was making its very ugly call. Oh no! You got offended, I'm sorry. That was probably uncalled for. But for such a pretty bird, they don't have a very pretty call. Cleaning your beak, are we? I think it was also making the call a little while earlier because there was another lilac-breasted roller flying around. So I'm sure it was also a good reminder, as in like, this is my spot. Look how beautiful those colors come out in that setting. That's a very cool frame, Craig. Looks very, very pretty. And you can see just how colorful it is in contrast with a very dry marula tree that it's on top of. And also looking quite all fluffed up. I'm sure this bird is still feeling a little bit cold, and that's why it's looking like that. Just trying to use its feathers to trap that extra layer of warmth and just make sure that it keeps warm. Although, I don't know, I feel like you're being a bit exaggerated today. I'm not feeling that cold. Why are you? I think as a response, he even fluffed up some more. Our Lara Moore, you say such pretty colors. It is, and especially in a darker background, I think it enhances them a lot more. But they also look to me like sometimes they were a bit grumpy with that face of theirs. Maybe, I always think of them as like guys that have very long beards because of those little white streaks, or the streaks of white that they have underneath their bill on their throat. Very beautiful. Tim, you say that you do believe that it's almost every color across the prism. Maybe. I think maybe they're actually made of glass or a prism, and that's why we see so many different colors. But they are definitely one of the most colorful creatures around here, and definitely one to look out for. Now, shall we leave you onto your warming up? We want to see if maybe we can pick up on any other feathery friends that might be driving around here. And let's see, maybe an unusual bird. Ground hornbills would be wonderful this morning. Seems like Taylor has got another hyena den, so let's go over to her and find out if there are any hyena there.
No, this one has been completely abandoned now. This is the one that's just off of Philemon's cut line. The mongoose have moved in. You can see all their dung, and you can even see a patch of urine that's still fresh from this morning. And I actually walked right up to the entrance, and there's nothing in there. And I'm surprised to actually see how little room there is inside there. Maybe what happened is that those hyenas actually outgrew the space. They could dig it out slightly, but a termite mound is also quite hard and quite compact. So I wonder if that wasn't the case. Maybe this is when you have tiny little hyena cubs. You start here, and then you upgrade to a bigger mound. And there isn't much room at all. There's just a couple of bones that are scattered about that the adults may have brought back. And the little ones were chewing on those at some point too, but not active at all. Mongoose now, who knows what could be next? Maybe there's some tortoises living inside there as well now. Maybe a warthog will come and widen that burrow slightly, but it wasn't deep. The cavity was only about something like that. Maybe 2 ruler lengths. So it's not big enough for an adult to go inside, that's for sure. Oh, sorry, we're having fun with our aerial this morning. Right, what else are we going to find around here? Yay, the sun's poking through the clouds now. It's gone from being completely dull and dark to all of a sudden it feels like someone's shining a spotlight in my eyes. There was no time for my eyes to adjust between the cloudy, overcast day and now the sun poking through. Let's go along Rebecca's Road. I think that's what we're going to do now. Couple of impala and things around. No, I need to go this way. I don't have brakes, sorry. Let's just check here. So still no luck on the leopard. Hopefully we'll have a bit of luck a little bit later today. And this afternoon we'll go check in those same spots to see if any more tracks have appeared. And I will just check over here too. Just lots of waterback footprints for the moment and civets. No big cat tracks. Not even a hyena footprint just yet. And this is also a road that the hyenas seem to walk on quite a bit. Not today. Now, a question from R. Lara Moore, and that is, you wonder if a human could live in an abandoned termite mound. I think so. I reckon if it was just big enough, you could excavate it slightly and it would be a good sleeping spot. That would be quite nice. And would be warm. It would be probably one of the warmer areas to sleep in. But you just better hope that if you do go and use something like that as shelter, it's from a while ago and the parasites aren't still around there. Because can you imagine how those mites would bite you? Hello, impala. There's a family of impala here. Hello, little one. It's okay. Don't have to worry. You can see them just here. They're probably going to move off though if I stay. I'm actually going to just keep going just because I know I'm going to frighten them if I stay so close to them. I was just passing through. And we'll just continue along here until we get to the Balanites tree. And then we'll check that intersection for tracks because normally there's quite a few tracks around there as well. That's also a little highway for predators. And I think first things first is the scarf can come off now. It's a bit warm with that on. Right, where's the next bird party? Who are we going to see? I reckon the next bird we're going to see is a hornbill. I think my chances are pretty good. Maybe a turtle dove. Well, Ali's playing copycat today. She's found a bird party before I have. Let's go count how many species are in it.
Well, not really a bird party, but more a flock of birds, because they're all the same species. Now, these are all red-billed buffalo weavers on top of terminalia trees. Isn't that beautiful? And normally we see them on the ground all together looking for food and jumping around, but we have been lucky enough to have all of them on top of the same tree, or the same 2 trees, and that looks very beautiful. It's almost like they are they're making the tree a bit prettier. Now, if you're wondering about the name Buffalo Weaver, Where are you guys? They are closely related to weavers, and they make those very big nests that sometimes we see at Chitwa. They're not the prettiest of nests, and definitely not as wonderful as the ones that some of the other weavers can build. And but still, big structure, and they all nest communally and go in there. Now, we also have the small 5 in South Africa. We don't only have the big 5, and these are part of the small 5 because they have the name of one of the big 5s, the buffalo, within their name. Sorry, I'm just trying to find them in the book for you so that we can have a closer look, because I think maybe the sun is not really helping, or the lack of sun. And they are very beautiful creatures that are worth having a look at. Alrighty. There we go. Here we have found them. So I know the weather is not helping us in seeing them too pretty, but they are quite beautiful little birds. And it's this one here. This is the male. Very beautiful. So they have that very obvious red beak of a dark color, and then over here you can see the underwing. And when they start flying, then you see those splashes of white in between their wings, and then the females are more of a dull color, more of a brownish thing. Almost can look like an Aramark babbler. But they are a lot more quiet, and I think they are also starting to warm up. And like I said, when we first arrived, they were right here, all of them on the ground, perhaps already starting to look for food, and then they all went up onto the terminalia, which is quite beautiful. And I think it was a pretty view, seeing all of them around here. Now, I'm sure this is the flock that lives around quarantine. There are a few nests in some of the marula, so I think these are the ones that we see when we start drive very early in the morning. But thank you guys, they've all flown away. Now, let's carry on down this road and see what else, or who else we can find. Like I said, some ground hornbills would be quite fantastic to try and see again, because we have heard them far away in the distance for the last few days, but we haven't been able to come across them. And we do know there are 4 of them that hang around together, the breeding pair and then 2 youngsters. So we were all hoping for a little while that they were going to start nesting in one of the big jackalberries on one of the central roads of Djuma, but I don't think we've had such luck. I think they're still looking for a place. Alright, little birds, come out into the open. We would like to see you. Jesse, you're wondering what makes up the small 5. Sorry, I should have actually expanded on that. So the small 5, like I said, are the 5 little animals that we get out in the bush that have the name of one of the big 5 in their name. So we've got the buffalo weaver, the elephant shrew, the rhino beetle, that looks very much like a dung beetle, but it's got a little, what looks to be a little horn. Then the ant lion, that lives mostly underground in its larval phase, and the leopard tortoise. It is a tortoise whose shell is spotted on shades of black and yellow. So very clever, isn't it? There are some of my most preferred things to see out here. The rhino beetles are just so tiny and endearing. And the elephant shrew, I think I've only seen one once, because they come out, or I've only seen them running across the road at night, so very hard to spot them. But I know some of the other guys have seen them a bit more. And there are spots where they are mildly habituated to humans, so you can always see them. And it's funny, it's like a tiny little mouse with a very long nose. I do love them. I wish we could see them a bit more often than what we do. And the tortoises are around quite a bit, so those ones, I would say, out of the big 5, ironically, the leopard tortoise is the one that we see the most, whereas the real leopard, not so much. Although the lions also have proven to be a bit tricky in the last few days. Alright, road. Here we go. Ground hornbills, reveal yourselves. We're looking for you. I don't even know if we've heard them from here, but it's a good spot as any to start looking for them. Alright, we are going to carry on down our path, see what else we can find around here. But while we do that, let's go over to Taylor and find out if she's had any luck with the small 5 this morning.
No, but I heard some buffalo weavers. Does that count? But other than that, we haven't seen anything else that belongs in the small 5. Now, I've completely forgot to tell you yesterday with all the commotion of Tingana and actually getting a sighting of him. So Lex had said on the radio that he found a dead hyena just west of Tambweti Dam, out of our traverse, unfortunately, so we can't even go over and have a look. I don't know what hyena it was. He didn't give if it was male or female, and he didn't say what it had been killed by. But that's very close to the hyena den. That's not far at all. That's right up there near Mvubu Road. Ellie's tracking us this morning. There she is. So that was quite interesting, quite sad though. I don't know what happened. It could be a snake, it could have been a lion, it could have been a leopard, seen as though Tingana was around there. It could have been a number of different things. She's trying to run away now. Ellie, we can see you. You escaping is not trying to drive into the bushes. Should we just sit on her awkwardly and see what she does? That worked. I can actually hear her from here. Can you believe it? There's Batman. Tell Craig to wave, please, Alice, and to show his face. Because he always hides behind the camera and we can never see him. Craigie, we want to see you. There's Craig. Look at that smile and those dimples. Ellie, do you also have dimples? Aw, you could have been the dimpled team. So funny. But that's what our lovely little cars look like. Let's go back past. Let's get a closer look. No, Craig. I don't want to be on camera. I know. I'm so... Oh, no. We're going to switch roles now.
Oh, yes.
It sounds like it.
You and Sab.
Yes. Can you see us? Alice?
I think we have, actually. Do you have dimples, Taylor? Smile?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. That's interesting. Well, if you were wondering, that is Taylor, and then hiding behind the camera is Sam. I feel like you guys are much warmer down there.
People only know me from this angle.
That is a very good call, yes. I reckon people will be able to find me just by looking at the braid in my hair.
Normally,
like this, look, also.
My actual look is the sunglasses have to be on the hat.
Okay.
With the ponytail.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the normal look.
So this is the Taylor identification.
No. So sometimes people actually can't recognize me when I take them off. They go, who is that?
Completely different human, my god. Alright. Bye guys! I think Taylor and I are in sync today, driving the same roads. I think we've been almost trailing each other the whole morning. Just going up and down the same roads, trying to see if maybe we can pick up on anything. Sad news about that hyena. I'm not too sure where that was found, but hopefully it won't be one of ours. But I'm sure we'll find out in the next few weeks if we stop seeing one of them. I wonder what it is that happened. Like I said, I haven't heard that update from Lex, so I don't know if maybe Taylor has got a bit more information as to what's happened with that particular hyena. Alright. Seems like this is a very dead part of the road. Taylor has been driving around here and there's been nothing. So I wonder if perhaps we're gonna get lucky. Although I know her and Seb were checking quite nicely all around, so if they didn't find anything... Whew, I feel like I need to sneeze. Excuse me. I think maybe some of the dust that's been floating around got to me. Hopefully not a cold. I wonder what this funny weather is going to do today. I don't think the sky has decided if it wants to be cloudy or sunny just yet. Oh, hornbills. Hello guys. Managed to find one hornbill, the yellow-billed hornbill. And they were all down on the ground looking for food, but I think the rest of them have flown away, just like this one has. Alrighty. Ah, they were all still here. They all flew away in front of us. Naughty, you're hiding. Colin, you're wondering if hornbills are carnivorous. Well, they can eat chicks of other species, and sometimes they will go for eggs as well, and they eat insects, so I would imagine that counts as being carnivorous. They just pretty much eat anything. Alright, maybe a warthog. That would be quite nice to find a warthog somewhere around here, or perhaps another beautiful clan of dwarf mongoose, since they can be around here often. But again, this area just needs lots of elephants. And I can't believe that we haven't seen one herd of elephants this morning in between the two of us. And it's not for lack of trying. Alright, I think we are going to start doing a bit of a loop around and start heading home. I know Craig and I were hungry about an hour ago already. So I think maybe I'm just going to do a loop here and a roundabout. But while we do this roundabout, let's go to Taylor, who's got some signs on the road that she would like to show us. I wonder what they are.
We do indeed, and it's from the animals both you and I have seen today. It looks as though the zebra were laying down on the ground. Perhaps they were having a bit of a dust bath as well. But there's lots and lots of tracks around here. So it's nice to have lots of zebra and the wildebeest back on the property again. They look like they're going down that way. Maybe we'll find them on quarantine at some point. Maybe they'll be waiting there for us this afternoon for the sunset safari. Will we have a sunset this afternoon? That is the greatest question that's going to be plaguing my mind the whole day, and that will of course depend on whether the clouds decide to fizzle out. Marula trees, you're all looking very bare. You know, one thing I was sad that we didn't really get to see, and we can have a look at this beautiful giant of a marula, is that I told you that one of my favorite things to see as we see the change of season is when all the leaves turn completely yellow. And I have an amazing picture from 2015 of a marula tree with lovely yellow leaves against the bright, sort of ominous sky, if you will. So sort of dark black clouds, but sort of a bit of blue tinge to it as well. It was really pretty. And I didn't see that this year. Perhaps all the leaves turned yellow and fell off of the trees when I was on holiday. I did seem to go on holiday quite often the last few months. But it's pretty anyways. It's going to be easier for seeing leopards up in trees like that with no more leaves, which will be very nice. And they make the perfect spot. So we'll have to try and check them again this afternoon. And maybe that leopard that was out and about will make its return. Rexon also just said his big herd of elephants has come in from the east, from Torchwood, and is on Mumba Road now. So maybe we'll get them as well, a large herd of elephants. Let's hope that they stick around though. That could be quite nice. So even though it may have been slightly quiet this morning, it could all turn around and change, and this afternoon could be quite exciting. But I hope that you've enjoyed it just as much as we have, and we've taught you a thing or two today, or at least made you smile. I can tell you right now that will just make our days. But I can smell Amanda's breakfast cooking in the distance. It's delicious. So from all of us here at Wild Earth, a big thank you once again, and we hope you stick around, and we'll see you a bit later for the afternoon safari.